in mind, and we have a viewer actually that we've been sharing some feedback with in the comment threads, James M, and he was talking about wanting to raise some birds and the heat in his area where he lives, and I think has decided to hold off on these meat birds. He already has chickens, but hold off on these meat birds until a cooler time of year, and we think that's a smart move because it is difficult for these birds to tolerate heat. And it is specifically why, like, our building is set up with a big doorway like this on every side. In fact, one side has two big doorways. But the whole aim of that is to basically be able to open up the entire building and let as much airflow through here as we possibly can. And you might not believe it, but at one time, we had 500 birds at one time in this building. It was 2 flocks, 2 different ages, 500 birds. And it was about this time of year. And as we were in the barn working, you'd think you would smell poultry and manure and bedding and ammonia. And I'm happy to tell you that that's when we knew the design of this barn panned out for us, for our specific, where it's situated and our specific goals and resources, because as we were standing in a barn with 500 chickens, we could smell honeysuckle. We didn't smell ammonia. We didn't smell poultry. We didn't smell bedding. We didn't smell manure. We smelled honeysuckle. And actually where that wooded area is, you can't see it from here, but there's honeysuckle that grows out through there. And we were smelling that. So that was telling us there's a lot of great air exchange here, a lot of great ventilation, and it's helpful to our flocks. So these birds are going to feel some heat today. It's going to be high 80s probably, but they're going to be protected from the elements, and if we need to pull out additional stops to keep them cool, we're going to do that for them. But that's what you're seeing. And like where I'm standing right here, we feel a lot of good air movement. So I know these birds are okay. But that's what we're seeing here in those 2 laying down. The wings are out and there's slight panting, but that's helping them. And the air movement here is good because for helping with that, because what they're doing by holding the wings out is exposing some unfeathered areas of their body. And as they do that, some air can move over it. But another thing I'll show you, and it's not going to hurt these birds, but this is something with Cornish rock cross meat chickens. Like we have, so this is a doorway here, okay? It's opened up. So it's bumping into our temporary wall that we've built there, and they're going in behind it. There's still good airflow there, but Cornish rock cross meat chickens kind of have a tendency to do this. If they see kind of like a crevice or a hidey hole that appears shaded and they perceive like it's shaded, it's cooler back there, they'll go back there. And then if for some reason, like the airflow or the direct sun there changes, as long as their head is shaded, they'll kind of perceive that they're okay. But they can actually end up dying of suffocation from kind of like imposing on themselves, being trapped in a place where they're not getting good airflow. So we have to be mindful of that. So that's why sometimes, if you have like your birds, you're letting them outside, or you have maybe just a place in your barn like that you have to be mindful of. You might, sometimes we have to take steps to like keep them out of an area so that they don't put themselves in a place that is bad for them, that's going to cause them a problem. So anyway, at this rate though, we've got, what'll that give us? About 8 days to go, I think, before this flock goes to processor. And even sometimes we look at them and say, gosh, 5 weeks and 2 days isn't very long to finish meat chickens. Are they going to be ready? But we've always been told they put on the most weight in their last 10 days. And that's kind of that's kind of vague, because that can only be kind of relative to what is their production schedule. But they do. It never fails. If your schedule's 6 weeks, if your schedule's 5 weeks, they're going to finish. They're going to fill in. They're going to convert feed to meat. They're going to distribute the meat to the chicken breast, drumsticks, and thighs. And 5 weeks, 6 weeks is enough time to finish with like a 4.5 pound whole chicken, and with good sized cuts from the chicken if you prefer to do cuts rather than the whole bird. So So it does end up working out, and I can literally tell you, what we say, these birds are 29 days old today. And see, there's another example of like observing the manure there. We see the brown color, the white color. It's kind of a firm consistency. It looks like chicken manure should look, and that's a good indicator about the well-being of our birds. But was saying they're 29 days old. And, you know, we even looked at them on day 28 and said, gosh, you know, are they going to finish? 5 weeks isn't long. 5 weeks isn't long. But they are going to put on more and more meat from this point forward. And in fact, what I wanted to say about that is, as we were looking at the birds the end of day 28, I can honestly tell you, being out here in the barn with them on day 29, they literally look bigger than they did the night before. So they literally look like they've grown overnight. But it is amazing. They do grow fast. Cornish rock cross meat chickens do grow fast, and that's why they are the favorite meat bird in the world, throughout the world. Absolutely. So they do grow fast. They grow fast in the beginning, and they grow faster at the end. And that's why it absolutely can work to go start to finish in 5 or 6 weeks and have them ready for poultry production. We do feed Kalmbach 22%, start to finish meat bird feed. We don't get anything for telling you that. We just want you to know, in this kind of system, going 5 or 6 weeks, using that feed start to finish, it works.